Rutgers to me is got a tremendous mindset when they play. I know they've lost some games, but what I see on film and what we've seen from Steve is they have the real deal. And there's no way that you get ready for anybody in this league judging on a record. And I hope nobody would think they're getting ready for us judging on a record right now in the early stages of the Big Ten. But the bottom line is we're very familiar with how good a coach Steve Pikel is with his time of coaching against him at Stony Brook. We're in the same NCAA tournament site in Des Moines this year when he was at Stony Brook, and they opened up with Kentucky, I'm sorry. And they're playing with a great spirit. I mean, they're relentless on the glass. Freeman is as good of offensive rebounder outside of Jalen Johnson that we've seen yet. They've got quickness at the guard spot. They can get down and they can get in the lane. They can make threes. They're a big team. They're a big physical team, and they play fast. And they're playing different than a year ago, obviously, and they're gaining confidence inside of that. And all you have to do is look at some of the games they've had in this league. One being Iowa the other night, one being Northwestern, and certainly look at that and say that they're right there. So we've got to come out with a real edge, and you got to have it any night in this league. And having an edge hasn't been our issue. Carrying it out has been our issue, and that's what we've got to continue to get better at. So we're looking forward to it. We've had a good few days here, no question about it. And as far as improving in the film room, I think, as far as improving on the practice court, the small group settings, things of that nature. And we just got to continue to not only improve our base and improve on both ends of the court, but improve our fundamentals and keep looking at what the game is giving us and understand how to take advantage of it. And even when the game is, I thought during the other night, the game was giving us the opportunity to get to the foul line in the post. And after watching the film, I was more right than ever. We just didn't get that. And we went into the post numerous times, and we weren't rewarded for it. And so, but again, it comes down to the end. We got a chance to tie the game at the buzzer, and we just didn't get it. And I keep reminding these guys of a couple turnovers shorter here, a couple more layups on our end, under 2 minutes. Some of these things are a different story, but the bottom line is we've got to do a better job throughout the 40 minutes, not just at the end of games. And we've got to continue to learn how to play winning basketball throughout the game. And that's where the connectedness comes in. That's where the urgency of possessions comes in. That's where the putting segments together inside of the game. It's not a mistake-free game by any stretch. No one ever thinks it's going to be, but it has to be an urgent. We have to simplify it as much as we possibly can. But I have the vantage point of being able to. I don't know how many of you go back and watch the games after they're done, after you write, and to see if you were correct or not. I have the vantage point of being able to go and do that. And even in the other night, there's not a whole lot of things we would change about the way we attacked inside of the game. We had a couple mistakes. The Herder three obviously hurt us because we went under a screen rather than over. But again, it's just stuff inside of the game that we've got to continue to take advantage of. Hope that when we do go in the post, and there's two hands in the back, that the way the rules are written, that we're going to be rewarded for that. And when there's body on the drive, that we're going to be rewarded for that. Just like we should be penalized if we do it. So that's all you can really hope for as you go into the game, and then try to make the adjustments the best that you can as you go through it. And we just keep moving on to the next one.
Tom, you had Curtis and Devontae were in here. In terms of being able to get freshmen to make impact right away, obviously you've had success in doing it over the years. Is there a certain key couple things that you do to get them ready so that they can be productive? Right?
Well, it's consistency for those two. We just spent some more time on the court after practice working on a couple of things with them. They're getting better. There's no question about it. But the hardest thing for any player, especially a young player, to understand is how simple you have to keep the game. How much it's about the next pass. How much it's about, running the court both ways. How much it's about understanding that your first step matters in so many things, whether it's on the ball defense, whether it's your cutting. Just get into the flow. Just get into the flow. When you get into the game, and you come into the game impacted with an activity on defense. If you can rebound it, that's great too. Impact it with an activity up and down the court, and impact it by making the next pass. And then certainly when the ball comes your way and you're ready to shoot, be ready to shoot it. You don't miss or make, be ready to shoot it. But that's the thing. All freshmen have different things, and all freshmen go through, extreme difficulties at times. It's part of it. But I mean, we're building confidence through the demands, not trying to take anything away through the demands. But when you have two guys like that and a run like that, I mean, you want them to understand they can be very, very valuable for this team. And they get coached detail-wise every day. They get coached in intensity-wise every day. They're making strides without question. But they just need to play the game in a much more simpler fashion. But even at the same time, when you come in, that doesn't mean you just get in the flow and guard your man. You got to bring some real juice to it. And when you go to the bench, or the old play on demand term is very hard to get guys to understand. And when it's time to play, come in and impact it, and take your time on offense, but be real aggressive on defense.
With those two also, I mean, they seem a little soft-spoken. How much too are you kind of coaching them just to be talkative, assertive, just a little bit more vocal?
Coach the entire team to be talkative, more assertive. So I mean, seriously.
Given their roles, though, just be.
It's no difference. It's no different. No, and I say that because it's not a strength. It's not a strength of anybody right now. And we've got to continue to work through it. And there's responsibilities that certain guys have. But that's where some of the urgency needs to come from. So those guys, no question, if you're asking me a singular question on those two, then yes, those two have definitely got to get better with that. But they got to have better role models right now and on the court. And that has to get better in a hurry for us to really take some big strides, because we're getting better, but now we've got to carry it over, okay? And in the details of the game are so important. And talking is not about just rah-rah and yelling and getting in somebody's face. I mean, we don't have a lot of guys that are like that. Talking is reminders. Talking are conversations. I say this all the time, and it becomes hard to understand for players till they've been through it a while, but defense is bullet points, offense is conversations. And they're quick conversations. And sometimes they're animated. They're not monotone. They're just not. And we haven't quite grasped that yet. But I've got juniors that haven't quite grasped that yet, too.
When you look at the Big Ten stats, you guys are like number one in scoring, field goal percentage, and three-point percentage.
You're ahead of me. I haven't looked at the Big Ten stats since they started the Big Ten.
I know it's early, but it's like
Yeah,
a quarter of the way
at them.
through. You guys are number one in those, but near the bottom in three-point percentage, defense, and turnover margin, and assist-to-turnover ratio. Do those accurately reflect things you feel you guys need to really improve on?
No, I don't think we're shooting the ball that well at all. And again, I'm just listening to you read the stats. I don't look at them. I mean, I look at each game, what we're getting ready for each game, but I don't look at I will at some point look where we compare in the league. But our turnover numbers at times skew that field goal D. There's no question the three-point defense has got to become less help, better challenges. Okay, less help, better challenges. And stop reacting to the ball, right? I mean, just stay with your coverage. Stay with your man. Early help, early recovery. What else did you say? Assist turnover ratio.
Yeah, the other one was assist.
That's always going to be skewed with us because we're a driving team. Assists are great. A few weeks ago we had 50 in one game against Illinois. We had 22. That's great, but we're a driving
that's not a
ball
number
team.
that you really look at too
much. No, because in this game, and maybe it's in a lot of other leagues, but it's definitely times in this league, you just put your head down and you barrel through somebody, you get rewarded. Not always, right? Not always. So maybe we have to have more of that. That's not exactly the way I like to teach basketball, okay? I don't want to teach guys to hook guys' arms when they're coming across on cuts and yell and jump into a guy constantly. But you know what? Sometimes you got to do what's getting rewarded that night. And shouldn't be like that, but it is. So we're right there in so many areas, but it's putting it together in a more consistent fashion, which would really make a difference. But there's no question that we've got to cut the live ball turnovers down. We've got to cut, we've had some, and we've been really, really breaking this down even more now because we have to. We'll create a turnover, okay, or a turnover be created for us, and we'll go give it right back. because we don't make the right decision. Those are killers. Those are 4 to 6 point swings.
Sure.
So we just have to get better at those type of things. And maybe I'll go look at the stats. So I don't want to be truthful and say you gave me some advice though, because I don't want anybody to think that. But I'm ad-libbing right now because I have no idea what those stats say. I know what ours are, but I don't know where they compare.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I guess it's kind of a wider lens thing, but OG's now, obviously, he had about half a season in a larger role than he had last year, and you've always talked about his ability to impact the game in a lot of different ways, that for him it's about being able to sort of fill a lot of different gaps, I guess. How do you feel he's growing into that, and maybe is he still kind of wrapping his arms around just
There's times he's the guy that averaged 5 and 2 a year ago. There's times he's like that. There's no question he's got another gear, and you've seen it, right? Everybody's seen it, and that gear's got to come out more often. It's got to come out earlier. And I would say this about him and a couple of our other guys: they got to get a better command of their quickness. Sometimes OG doesn't realize how quick he is, and it's not just that strength. And OG came in here very good sized. He's grown, obviously, since he's been here. He's gotten stronger since he's been here. You know, he's got to continue to learn to play to that body. But when you've got the hand-eye that he has, when you have the short space quickness that he has, when you have obviously the first step capabilities that he has, the quick twitch that he has, the way he can do multiple things on defense, there's another gear in there. And we're working hard to get it, and it's got to come out more consistently. And I'm not telling you anything that I haven't said to him. And now the next big thing is his teammates got to bring more of that out of him on the court, because he's capable of a lot. And is he doing bad? Not doing bad at all. But when you've got that kind of ability, you know, it's our job to keep pushing to find that extra gear and get it out of there more often. I take that very personal with him. I mean, I love that kid, and we've got to get that. But I've been down that road before. It's very easy it's very easy. I'm not doing the Vic comparison because they're two different players. We went through the same thing with Victor. Victor sometimes would play so wild and fast it looked like he was always at one speed. Well, he was, because he didn't always have that gear of, like, sometimes when he had to slow it down, you know, which would make him faster. Sometimes when he had to put that burst on at the right time. Sometimes it was in a straight line. Sometimes it was a change of direction. There's a feel for those guys. But it's there. And when we've played really well, OG's been a huge part of that. And sometimes when we've struggled, he's been a part of that too. That's what happens when you're one of the better players. But we can truly help him find ways to get to that gear more often.
You said, I guess, his teammates helping bring that
Sure.
out. With a player like that, how does that factor in?
Communication. It's reminders on the court. I mean, it's building confidence by you know, what they hear from each other on the court. And it's not like that they're hearing negative. Sometimes they don't hear enough from each other at all on the court, right? And the level of urgency shows up, and you know, you can feel it, you know, when you see it. Okay, you don't just see it, you feel it. And I think, but you got to hear it too. So I think, but I'd say that about everybody on the team. I think that there's not one guy that can't take another step inside of the game. And sometimes it's just taking a better first step. Sometimes it's a better first step defensively. Sometimes it's a better cut. And it's just the reminders of the game. Now, certainly when the ball is moving freely and it's moving quickly and we're getting out on the break, it's a lot easier for that to happen. But it can still happen inside of the half court. And I think that's sometimes why we get stagnant as much, because we're not cutting as randomly sometimes as we needed to. First play of the game the other night was one of the options for James was to cut, okay? He made it an option because he waited for the other opportunity to come. Boom, he cuts. Rob finds him on a back cut. He gets a layup to start the game. 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure he'd ever made that cut, right? So, I mean, it's all a matter of improvement. And it's taking the concepts and it's taking the structure of the offense and getting the randomness to be really important. We're not as good at random. And how that ties into OG is we need OG to be much better randomly, you know, inside of the game. Where you're just reading how he's being played, reading the situation. Guy standing next to you, just absolutely bury him on a duck in. You know, you got the inside position on the rebound wedging. You know, just little things like that. So that's where he can improve, and that's where the guys on the court can remind him. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just with Duran, I mean, going back to maybe some of your initial interaction with him recruiting him, I mean, with some of the stuff he's been through as a kid, I mean, did you sense, of greater sense of maturity with him, just, you know, as a kid coming through high
He's a
school?
real honest kid, and that's not saying the other ones aren't too. He's a real honest person, and he always has been. He's been always been easy to talk to. Since first time we met him on campus, I think put him on the phone a couple of times they did when he was younger, but then when we get him on campus, and then when the rules allowed us to be able to talk to him more, I mean, you just see it. Then you get around him and you just love being around him. He's gonna be an excellent leader here. He's still trying to figure it out. And he's still trying to feel his way through that. And would he be better if he'd have been here through the summer? Well, no question, right? But it's still, that takes time for a guy. You know, you're really not gonna be the kind of leader that you need to be until you've really backed up in your own mind what your success needs to be, right? But you can lead, you know, like talk to the ball, right? When you're behind the defense, and when you're behind the ball defensively, talk to that ball handler. Our communication on screening, and he's one of the key guys that have got to get better at that. They're not sure of themselves. The game moves fast when you're young, and the older you get, the slower it gets. You might get faster as a player, but the game slows down for you. And he's still going through that speed process. You know how fast the game is going for him. But he is a great teammate. Players love him. He's getting in excellent shape. I shouldn't say excellent, but he's really building up towards that. He feels good, and he's going to be an integral part of the rest of the season. Yes, Pete?
In terms of leadership, have your best teams maybe, I know you want maybe multiple people to be leaders, but at the end, one voice, one player, like maybe last year was Yogi?
No, it wasn't like that last year. It wasn't like that. We had a lot of guys on that team last year. There was tremendous interaction on the court. And a lot of us because they were older. You'd be amazed how good a leader Troy was. Didn't always back it up. Didn't always apply to himself, okay? But you'd be amazed. And one of the great things is people that would see the progression from year to year and see it in the practice, they would see that, right? So like, he knew where everybody should be. He wasn't afraid to have a conversation during the game, right? The game wasn't moving so fast. Sometimes it would move too fast for him. We'd move to the point. But the game was never moving so fast they wouldn't tell people where they needed to be. It's an experience thing. So that's the thing. There's an understanding that goes into it, and then there's an experience thing that goes into it. But the best teams I've had have rarely, my Final Four team at Marquette had numerous leadership. It was like a connection. This guy got to this guy got to that guy got to that guy, boom, we got a pretty good group, right? It just, every team is different, but there's got to be a dynamic of constant communication, you know, through thick and thin, through good and bad. And we got great people. I mean, these are great kids. But they're just not they're not there yet on how important it is. It doesn't, I mean, we come out of a timeout I drew that play up when we ran the play that Rob got the three. James was open on the other side, Rob was open on the side. I mean, we put the box and one in, like I said, in a 30-second timeout in the Louisville game. It's not intelligence, and it's not, you know, when you're urgent. I mean, it's just, you just got to be more urgent, and you got to be communicating. You get a lot smarter when you're talking on that court. You know, the game gets a lot easier. We just don't always get that yet. And that's part of leadership. Leadership is not just grabbing that guy. We need guys that make each other feel, because they're on the court, their confidence rises, and they feel safer. Yogi brought tremendous safety to everybody on the team, okay? Because they knew he was out there, right? And that just has to build up. So we don't have one or two guys that's their role this year. It's got to be collective, and it's coming, but it shows where it's not at certain times in the game, and then it comes down to a real dicey situation, win or lose. But I mean, we make a layup late in the game against Nebraska, we're up. We make a couple plays in this game the other day, we're up. Shooting free throws at the end. I don't know if we'd have been shooting free throws, but I mean, we'd have been in a better position. So it's right there, and that's what we got to keep reminding them. But you got to do something about it being right there. You know, we got to keep working to get over that hump, and it's not that we've got to create something new or practice a different way or, you know, do this, that we just got to be a little bit sharper, you know, more often, and hopefully we'll get there. Go ahead, Jeff.
You mentioned free throws.
Don't ambush me.
I'm just saying, you mentioned free throws and getting rewarded a couple times.
Yeah, I did.
Is that something you brought up?
Did you watch the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not going any further than that on that. But
Well, you seem to be making a pretty clear point.
I'm making a clear point.
Understand.
You know, but I've made it. I've made it, so I mean, it is what it is, can't do anything about it.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, that's part of, you expect to get those things in the game when you're going in that direction, so. But it's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last time, and it's not an excuse, I mean, not when you watch the film. So it is what it is, and we just gotta keep moving forward, and we gotta keep doing a better job of burning them.
Just a quick obligatory one, Rob, I assume nothing too lingering from what?
No, we gave a few days off, so we'll see. You know, we've been careful with it.
But do you expect him to play?
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
Okay? All right.
Thank you.